Well, I have a bit of a history with Jessie Marion King, the artist, because in the mid-1970s, I forget when, her daughter came to me, Merle Taylor, with tea chests full of wonderful things, original drawings, the books, designs, and it was like a magic lucky dip. And so this is rather important to me because this is a very beautiful drawing. Now, you bought it with this book, so tell me about this.
The poem is about Kilmeny, and it's an epic poem by James Hogg, the Ettrick Shepherd, and Kilmeny was stolen away by the fairies.
So Kilmeny was a beautiful...
Yes, a beautiful young woman. Now, Jessie M. King was a friend of my grandmother.
Yes.
And from this poem, Jessie M. King decided to do this very nice drawing and named after my grandmother and gave my grandmother the pet name of Kilmeny at that time.
The Glasgow School turned the design world upside down in 1900 when the group FRA Newbury championed at home, Macintosh. The MacDonald sisters, MacNair, showed at the Vienna Secession and were received as a revelation. Jessie Marion King was part of that same reforming circle, and 2 years later she went to the Turin International Exhibition of Decorative Arts and took the gold medal in her own right, for pen and ink work on vellum, precisely this medium, this scale. The poem she chose, James Hogg's Kilmeny, was written in 1813 by the self-taught shepherd poet known as the Ettrick Shepherd, a tale of a young woman of such purity that the fairies took her away from the mortal world.
Extraordinary. I would be tempted to put £5,000 on it, but because it is such a beautiful, perfect Art Nouveau, Jessie King, I think that £10,000 is...
And what you've got here is a pilot's watch.
Pilot's?
A pilot's watch. Yes, in fact, if you actually put it, it's somewhat large for everyday wear. And they were worn outside, probably on a big leather or fleece flying jacket.
Yes,
and you wore them with a long strap actually outside, so you could read it when you were in the cockpit.
Yeah.
And the date of this one, we'll see inside, there should be the marks of Omega, the manufacturer, the numbers, but there's also the import hallmarks.
Yes.
And the letter R, which I think is 1912.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a First World War pilot's watch.
Yeah.
And hence the very clear white dial with the black.
Thomas Edward Lawrence had already written 7 Pillars of Wisdom when this watch went in for repair. His memoir of the Arab Revolt, drafted by 1922 and circulating in a private subscriber's edition from 1926, was the reason ordinary Britons knew his name. By 1933, when this receipt was made out to T.E. Shaw of Clouds Hill, he had been living in deliberate obscurity for a decade, re-enlisting as an ordinary serviceman to escape his own celebrity. He died 2 years later, swerving his Bruff Superior motorcycle to avoid 2 boys on bicycles near the Dorset cottage whose address is on that piece of paper.
Yeah.
1933.
Yeah.
Made out to a T.E. Shaw of Clouds Hill, Moreton and Dorset.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Do you know who he is?
No, I haven't got a clue.
It's Lawrence of Arabia.
Good God.
If I'm correct,
Yeah.
after the First World War,
Yeah.
he was somewhat of a complex character, and he rejoined, I think, didn't he rejoin the RAF under the name of Shaw?
Yeah.
And I think he was killed under the name of Shaw on his motorcycle when dressed in RAF
Good
kit.
God. To be honest, to be perfectly honest with you, I always thought he was a fictional a character of fiction, I did.
No. It's the T.E. Lawrence of, well, as you said, of the marvellous film,
Yeah, well,
and who wrote the book.
Yeah, I remember seeing the film years and years ago.
But I reckon that, and he lived, I'm sure, my recollection is he lived at Clouds Hill in Dorset.
Good God.
And it's actually his watch, probably returned to him in 1930, having been cleaned, under the pseudonym that he'd adopted.
Good God.
So,
Yeah.
couple of half grand, just as a watch.
Yeah.
How much you could add for the Lawrence connection, I don't know. He's one of the most fascinating characters of the early part of this century.
Yeah.
I would, it's a guess. I'd double that, maybe 5, maybe 10.
Good God. I better get it insured then.
You've watched hundreds of these moments. The ordinary object. The jaw-dropping value. But here's the question we never ask: what's sitting in your home? You don't have to wait for the roadshow to come to your town. In seconds, Velqo tells you what it is, when it was made, and what it could be worth. It's like having the roadshow in your pocket. Open the App Store and search Velqo. Velqo. Or point your phone at the screen. You might be sitting on a fortune.
When you look at old jewellery, is that you realise that they are a representation of the time that they were made. When such pieces like this would have been worn very frequently, you know, a lady would have gone out to some great ball or function, cocktail party, and then they would have worn their diamond watch and their diamond brooch, and they would have carried their powder compact with them. Now, I'm assuming, therefore, that these would have been worn by someone who was in your family?
They were my aunts, and she married a wealthy Egyptian in the 40s, and these were part of her treasure trove, I guess, from that period. These have been kept in a safety deposit box for many years, and just interested to find out a little bit.
This aunt had exceptional taste and the connections to indulge it. Boucheron opened in Paris in 1858 and moved to Place Vendôme in 1893, the first jeweller to occupy the address that every luxury house still covets. Vacheron Constantin have been producing movements in Geneva without interruption since 1755, the longest continual watchmaking record in the world. Double-clip brooches became the defining silhouette of Art Deco, convertible pieces that could be worn as one brooch or split into two matching clips, a design every major house was producing by the mid-1930s. The white metal of the powder compact is a reminder that silver was rationed in wartime. The grandes maisons found elegant ways around it.
She was some girl. Now, white metal, it's not silver. This box is probably worth £1,000 to £1,500.
Wow.
Very good.
Something like that. The watch, because it's by such a fine manufacturer, £3,000 to £4,000.
Wow.
Now the double clip. In this light, can you see how white the diamonds are?
Yes.
Yeah.
They are a combination of brilliant cut stones and baguette cut stones mounted up in platinum. I can tell you, having looked at them with my lens, they are beautiful. 8,000 to 10,000.
Wow.
Wow.
So combined value, £12,000 to £15,000.
In Tehran in 1912, and of course my father was Henry Wilson's brother.
The first thing we've got to say about Henry Wilson is that he's the towering genius of the arts and crafts movement in more ways than to simply jewellery. I think we ought to just look.
Henry Wilson was the only figure in the arts and crafts movement who was equally formidable as an architect, a metalworker, and a teacher. He completed Holy Trinity Church in Sloane Street after his master J.D. Sedding died in 1891, and published the Arts and Crafts Silverwork Manual in 1903, the standard text in metalwork schools for decades. His jewellery is among the rarest of any British artist. Most surviving pieces went directly to museums. The Victoria and Albert Museum holds his finest work. Almost nothing remains in private hands, which is what made this encounter so exceptional.
Money, I mean, one would be thrilled to find them. Say, £600 for such an object like this. £2,000 for this and more.
Yes.
Maybe £3,000. £5,000 for this one. It's terrible, isn't it? I can hardly get through, so I think poor old Wilson's ghost will never, ever forgive me. And £8,000 to £10,000 for this one.
Goodness me.
Yeah.
No idea. I'm not sure I wanted to know.
No, I know you didn't. And that's because you have Henry Wilson's blood in your veins.
Original as him. You could imagine my surprise to see such an enormous collection of letters from this incredibly great artist, and quite a few of them illustrated, like this one, to Dearest Evelyn. Now, who is Dearest Evelyn?
She's my mother.
Henry Moore became a national figure through wartime drawings he made in the London Underground. During the Blitz, he sketched thousands of sheltering Londoners on the tube platforms. Those drawings, shown at the National Gallery in 1941, turned a respected sculptor into a household name. These letters predate all of that. Moore married Irina Radetzky in 1929, and these letters to Evelyn belong to the years before, when he was teaching at the Royal College of Art and not yet famous, writing to a woman who might have changed his life. The illustrated ones, where he drew in the margins of every page, are the rarest of his entire output.
of Henry Moore would, I suppose, be worth somewhere in the region of about £50,000.
Good heavens. Well, I just brought them along because I thought somebody might like to read them if there was a biographer.
Before you go, a quick word that could save you from a costly mistake. Every week, treasures like the ones you just watched are sold at car boot and yard sales for pennies by people who simply didn't know what they had. Don't let that be you. With Velqo, just snap a photo of anything in your home, and in seconds you'll know what it really is and what it's really worth. And it's completely free. Point your phone's camera at the code on screen now, or search the App Store for Velqo, Velqo before you let it go.